My name is Betty Mungai. I'm 36 years young. I was born in Kenya, born and bred in Kenya. I love songwriting and I love working with young people. Those are the two things that make me feel the most alive. I'm here today to share my healthcare story, to spread awareness, to raise awareness, and to let more people know about lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune condition where the body attacks itself. So when you've got antibodies in your body that protect you from diseases and infections, when you've got lupus, your immunity is dysfunctioning. It attacks the body instead of protecting the body, so that could show up in very simple ways like a fever or like joint aches here and there. But in the worst case scenario, it could be attacking vital organs, which could be fatal. I was diagnosed with lupus about 6 years ago, back in 2018. I remember I'd gone away to Kenya on holiday with some friends, and then I had to cut my holiday trip short because I was really, really unwell. So I came back and I went straight to A&E, and they test for all manner of things, especially if you're coming from a different country, from pneumonia or things of that nature, malaria. So I was presenting so many odd symptoms, my legs were swollen and I had difficulty breathing, and I was feeling sick. I couldn't keep food down, and all those kind of things. So they ran all the tests, the usual ones, X-ray, etc., and did some blood tests as well. And it took a while to kind of get to the conclusion of what was causing the issue. So that was the start of quite a long journey. I remember the doctor telling me that I had lupus. I was sitting in the hospital on my bed in the bay. I just had my lunch. At that point, I could at least eat something. And so the doctor told me I've got lupus. And I remember even thinking, I went blank. I was like, what does that even mean? What is that? And he's carrying on to explain, and this is what this means. I'm like, I'm not even hearing him. All I could hear is, you've got this condition and you have to do this and you have to take this medication and these are the next steps. But I didn't really understand it, because at that point, I was just thinking how much my life will change and how much longer will I be in here, actually, because I wanted to go, I wanted to go home. I wanted to get back to my normal life. And it's sort of like the onset of sort of like a depression as well. So all these things that he was telling me, they filled me with a lot of fear of the way I imagined my life would go. When I got the diagnosis, things actually took a turn and got worse. Sometimes when you're on rock bottom, you think things can never get any worse. Actually, they did get worse. I had a fever that was reoccurring, and those are some of the symptoms of lupus. So, like fever, fatigue, joint pains, breathing difficulties, because the autoimmune condition it causes inflammation or damage to body tissues. So your antibodies in the body that's supposed to protect you from diseases, from infections, sometimes they get confused and they attack the body. They attack the body tissues instead of protecting the body. The lupus was quite rampant. It was causing heart failure and attacking my heart organ, vital organs. So I experienced, they call it cardiac myopathy. So where it's causing inflammation to the heart, and so blood was not pumping properly to the rest of the body. When I started experiencing heart failure, they had to intervene, and they decided to put me on a life support machine, which is a mechanical ventilator called the ECMO. At that time, there were only 6 machines in the whole country. So they plugged me into this machine where it pumps blood around the body and it substitutes what the heart can't do. From a healthcare perspective, the doctors really tried their best. They tried their best in terms of using that modern technology. But what really pushed things and enabled me to have a fighting chance was my family support and my faith as well. Because I remember talking to my doctor one time, just to kind of thank him as well for the work that he had done. And he asked me, where'd you get your inner strength from? I was like, what do you mean? He said, while you were lying there on your bed, I could hear you. It's like your soul was telling me you're not done. I could see you fighting for your life. Going through this journey, it's been like a lot of like a mindset shift to think, well, this is something that is a situation that I navigate, but it's not essentially who I am. So I don't let it define my identity. I don't let it define who I am or limit. Because I remember, being in hospital, and my biggest fear was like living an unlived life, if that makes sense. And even my fear to date is living as if I'm dead. And so what I'd encourage anyone is to don't let it define you, the situation define you. And also in terms of like taking urgency over your situation, be very aware of your body in terms of like how you're feeling. And so then you're kind of like ahead of the curve if you need like medical attention, and just carrying on and asking for help and just living as well, because living beyond a diagnosis and not letting it like really define you.